I made this cake for my daughter's birthday, and while it turned out really close to what I had pictured in my head, it really taught me a lesson on overcoming obstacles. So follow along and I'll show you how I made it through all the trouble this cake gave me. This is She's Making Something, and today I'm making a Minnie Mouse themed birthday cake. So I already made 3 8-inch round layers of a super duper chocolatey cake, which I have chilled and leveled off. And now I'm going to stack and crumb coat them using just white vanilla American buttercream. Once the crumb coat was all done, the whole cake goes in the fridge to chill, while I take the remaining buttercream and color just over half of it this like bright Minnie Mouse pink. I didn't want it Barbie pink, or I didn't want it like baby pastel pink. I wanted it a bright pink, and I think I got pretty close to what I wanted. I didn't color all the frosting pink because I wanted the bottom of the cake to be white to show off that sprinkle border. So I piped the frosting onto the cake, but then I don't want that distinct line between the two colors. I want them kind of blurred and a little bit of an ombre effect, which is why I add those globs of pink into the white. And then after I smooth it all out and smear it together, I add more of the white up top and more of the pink down below, and I just kind of mess with it until I get that smeary blended look I was going for. The sprinkles I used were from Michael's, the Sweet Shop brand. I got the light pink and also the regular pink. And then I got this sprinkle mix from Walmart. It has the gold and the silver and the black. I used the silver, the black, and the white. And then I combined all those sprinkles together to create this super cute Minnie Mouse pink, black, silver. I mean, look how cute that is. And that's what I'm going to use to spread along the bottom of the cake. I put my cake in a rimmed baking sheet to try to catch as many of the sprinkles as I could. I still had to sweep a little afterwards. It still made a little bit of a mess, but putting that baking sheet under the cake really helps. And I put some sprinkles in my hand and then just very gently press them into the bottom of the cake. Sometimes I move my hand up along the cake to get them a little higher because I didn't want a straight like ribbon of sprinkles. I wanted it more organic and wavy and natural looking. Once I was done with the sprinkles, I cleaned off my cake board and put the whole cake in the fridge to chill to get ready for my black drip, which I made using Wilton black candy melts. And the recipe on the Wilton website says to use a half cup of heavy cream for every 12 ounces of candy melts. My candy melts somehow melted and then re-solidified, so I had to chop them all up. They were looking a little gray and it had me worried. But I warmed up my heavy cream, let it sit over the candy melts for a while, and when I started to stir it, I could see that once it got wet, those gray candy melts turned into this nice, silky, glossy black, which is exactly what I wanted. I originally was going to use a dark chocolate melt and try to dye it black a little bit, but using these black candy melts saved me a lot of time and got me that perfect, deep, glossy black that I wanted. And this is where it all started going wrong. I've made drip cakes before, so I knew to do a test drip, where there's just one drip on the cake to see how far down it goes and whether it's too thick or too thin and work the consistency of the drip. So I did my test drip and it ended kind of exactly where I wanted. So I thought that I had chilled it just right and the candy melts were cool enough. But the next glob I put on was way too big and it just went all the way down to the bottom. And I was like, okay. So I tried to clean it up, but it made like this big smeary mess all over the cake. And I was like, it's fine, whatever, take a deep breath, that's the back of the cake, you can move on. And I thought I figured out how to do the drips so they'd land where I wanted them to. You put the glob a little further back, push it gently toward the edge and let it fall on its own. And so I worked my way around the cake thinking that I'd figured this out, but the drips wouldn't stop where I wanted them to, they just kept going to the bottom. This is the point where I got so frustrated and I looked up at my husband. I believe I said the words, "I hate this stupid cake." So yeah, it was frustrating, not gonna lie. And I very clearly should have let the candy melt sit for longer so they would thicken up more so that the drips wouldn't slide all the way down to the bottom. This is what you get from being impatient with your cakes. I decided that what's done is done, to move on, so I finished the drip just the way it was, and then I stuck it in the fridge and moved on with some other party decorations while I mulled over how to fix this drip problem. So once my cake and drip were cooled and I had also calmed down, I took a warm butter knife and tried to clean up my smear a little bit more. And while I was doing that, I was looking at this cake and I was reminded of another cake that I had made a few years ago. It's a very similar cake. And I had used tweezers to add the sprinkles to the drips to create this really cool sprinkle drip effect. And I thought maybe I could do something similar to help camouflage my extra long drips on this cake. So after scraping off all the drip puddles on my cake board, I took some tweezers and anywhere that the drip went really long and covered my sprinkle border, I just added more sprinkles to it to try to camouflage it and blend it in and cover up my mistakes. Literally covering up my mistakes right now. It probably isn't the most professional solution, but it took the cake that I was ready to throw in the trash and start completely over and made me happy with it again. So the quick fix worked this time, and I learned another valuable lesson in not giving up on your projects. But moving on with the cake, I took some more sprinkles and spread them around the top and was getting ready to make my fondant Minnie Mouse ears and bow when I ran into my second problem with this cake, which was my black fondant in my pantry had completely dried up. And at this point I was so frustrated and I didn't have the time to really work with it or go out and buy some more. But I was in that mindset of adapting and overcoming. So instead of completely losing my cool, I grabbed some ears and a bow made out of construction paper that I made for the gift bags, and I took those and glued them onto some toothpicks, and ta-da! Now the cake has the ears and the bow that are necessary to turn it from just a cute pink cake to an official Minnie Mouse birthday cake. I might have been stomping around in frustration the night before, but it looked super cute at her party and she loved it. She loved everything about it, so it was totally worth it in the end. To check out some of my other projects, head on over to my channel and please subscribe to get notified the next time I'm making something. Thanks for watching.